Hi everyone, welcome to Conversations with Diana. Today, my special guest is none other than Nigel Hunter. Nigel Hunter is a graduate of York University and Oakwood University with degrees in education and theology. Currently, he's an elementary teacher with the Toronto District School Board. Nigel's passion for poetry via the spoken word began in 1999 while studying in Huntsville, Alabama for his undergraduate studies. He's passionate about the arts, specifically poetry and acting. Nigel was a co-developer and one of the writers of Soul, a 6-part drama that premiered in February 2009 on VisionTV. In the words of Nigel, poetry is more than words. It's an announcement to join the revolution to liberate people from mental slavery. Hi, Nigel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure meeting you. I'll lead into the first question. Just tell us a bit about your background. Who is Nigel Hunter?
That's a big question, but Nigel Hunter. So I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. My parents are of Caribbean descent. Both of them are from Jamaica, and they came over here in the 70s, and they started their life in Canada. And I was privileged to be born here. I have one older brother. I'm currently a elementary teacher, and I just have passion in poetry. I'm a spoken word artist as well as an actor, and just a creative all around. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
What were some of the challenges you faced growing up or that would have impacted you or your career? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Challenges. I think the biggest challenge for me is growing up in this society where I am, at first identification known as a Black male, right? And growing up as a Black male in Canada and having to live beyond those stereotypes that I was classified in, being a Black male. From first, when people first see you, they just see a Black male, and that stereotype is one of the things that I've had to live with and try to dispel some of the stereotypes that come with that identification. Me growing up in a neighborhood that was challenging as far as Toronto is concerned, growing up in Jane and Finch and then moving to Rexdale, I had to make it a personal effort to make sure that I lived beyond the stereotypes of Black males in that neighborhood. For example, thinking that we wouldn't, graduate high school or we wouldn't end up doing anything positive. It's funny, I'll tell you a story, is that when I first started teaching, I actually started supply teaching at my old school. And I saw one of my old teachers there, and he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm a teacher. And when he heard me say that, he goes, you know what, I can retire. If you can be a teacher, then I've done my job and I can retire. Just as a perfect example of having to live beyond that stereotype. I think that was one thing that I accepted it and embraced, but also wanted to live beyond and not end up being a statistics, as you want to call it. So that was definitely a challenge for me. Yeah.
Yes, I can imagine. And in terms of teaching, how long have you been teaching?
So I've been teaching for, it seems like it's 12 years now.
Wow.
It's almost weird saying it because it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but
yes,
12 years of teaching.
You must love it, because for me, as I say to many people who are teachers, especially in this day and age, I take my hat off every time because I know it's not easy. To me, you have to be called to go into teaching. But what led specifically to teaching? Was there any particular one moment that you can look back on and say, well, that's the reason why I became a teacher?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? It wasn't I was in acting first. Before I even went into teaching, I was doing acting and doing auditioning for commercials and different things like that. And it's funny enough, when I was doing my undergrad and I had finished my undergrad, I was working for a year. This is when I was in the US. I was in Alabama, and I got a job after school working at a school, just doing tutoring for kids after school. And I just caught the bug there. I just loved what I was doing, interacting with the kids. And so when I came back to Toronto, that's when I applied for Teachers College, as it was called at the time. I didn't get in the first time, And I said, you know what, I'm gonna be persistent, and I applied again, and then I got in the second
Good
time.
for you.
I got into teaching for sure. Yeah.
Great.
So it's
Wonderful.
been amazing in the sense of I still bump into my students that I've had, and they tell me, you know, how I've impacted them, which is, that to me is like priceless, to have those experiences where you meet people that you've impacted or students that you've impacted, and now they're older and they tell you how you've impacted them. So it's pretty amazing. For sure.
That's amazing. I'm so happy that you chose teaching. It's a noble profession. My dad was actually a teacher, and he taught for many, many years. So it's something that I know from firsthand experience, that it is a journey, and it can be challenging. But like I said, you have to be called to it. So I'm glad that you really found your passion, and you have been doing it for so long. And you're, as you said, you're meeting your students and past students, and they're giving you, making you feel proud to know that you've made an impact in their lives. Sure. I'm going to move now into another passion that you mentioned to me, your book project called Love Chronicles. Yeah. Can you tell us briefly a bit about that book and what led you or inspired you to write it?
So funny enough, back again when I was in undergrad in the US, you know, I used to always say these sayings. And somebody who I was, you know, talking to at the time, they were saying, you know, why don't you write this stuff down? So I started writing it down, and I joined a poetry group at my university at the time. And that's how the writing process started, really. My first poem I ever wrote was for my mom, for her on Mother's Day. And that was really how the bug started. And then I continued writing. And then I got to a point where I had so many different pieces. And I said, you know what, I need to put this into a book. And I kind of gathered some of the pieces that I had from Oakwood, from when I was in university, and also that I had written. And it came together as Love Chronicles, really talking about how love chases you and you're not really chasing love, and just different aspects of love in relationships, love for a father to a son, a love for brothers, a love in relationships. So that's how Love Chronicles came about. And so I finally put everything together, and then 2016 self-published it, and now it's out. Congratulations
for pursuing that and for being an independent publisher. I can imagine how that must have felt when you published your first book. Are there any other books in the works?
There is one other book that I know that is in the works, and a lot of people have been asking about it. There's so many other things on the table right now, so I'm trying to get those things finished first, and then I'll start putting together the second book. But yeah, it's definitely coming. TBA, to be announced.
Great, I'm glad to hear it. I really want to get it. So let me know as soon as it's official.
Yeah,
and I'll do my best to support that. Maybe have you on the show again to talk about it.
Yeah,
I know you also wrote a 6-part drama which appeared on VisionTV. Can you tell us how you transitioned into drama writing?
It's a funny story, but I'm gonna tell it just like how it happened.
Yes, please.
I was acting in a play at a church by the name of it was called KCC, Kingdom Covenant Ministries. They had a play, and I was playing one of the disciples, Andrew. And at the end of the play, a gentleman came up to me and he was like, have you written anything before? And I literally had written one play. And I told him I written one play. He goes, you know, send it to me. Let me check it out. I sent it to him, and he responded back to me. He said, my sister and I are putting together a television show. Would you want to be a part of it? And I was like, yes.
Oh my goodness.
So I jumped to the opportunity, and that's how it really started. It was VisionTV had this competition that they had every year, and we submitted our idea or our television show to them, and we got in, and we went from the last group to be submitted in, and we ended up winning the whole competition. And then we got to actually film and produce this television show.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it was
amazing. What was there, like what was the prize? Was there another other than being featured?
I mean, there was monetary prize, but there was also being actually having your produced and and developed by VisionTV, right? So it was
Yes.
an opportunity. It's something I couldn't turn down. At the time, funny enough, when I was doing the production and the writing, I was working at a factory. So I took my 2 weeks vacation to go and write and do that, because, you know, it was a pretty much an opportunity of a lifetime, right? So who would really turn that down?
Exactly. You know? That's a testament to your determination, and it paid off, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the name of the drama for persons who may be interested? I'm going to drop the link in the description so that they can check it out.
So the drama is called Soul. It's called Soul, Soul, Soul. Yeah, and I believe it's on YouTube. I believe there is, if you look up for Soul TV series, you'll see it there. Yeah.
Congratulations again, Nigel. That is really incredible. That's a funny story to boot, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, for sure.
This is one question I tend to ask all my guests that have been on the show so far. What, or how I should say, has COVID impacted you?
Oh man.
Any aspect, whether it be your life or your career, you choose.
In so many ways. I mean, I'll start off with life. Life in general with COVID. I've personally made the decision to say that, you know, I got to take time to really build the relationships that I have and maintain them, because COVID has us so isolated from each other that we really need to take the opportunity to really invest in the relationships that we have to ensure that they are there, because so many people are going through so much right now, and the isolation doesn't really help it, you know. So definitely in my personal life, I'm trying to do my best to invest in those relationships that are important, to make sure that they stay strong and people know that they're not alone in this time, because I know a lot of people feel like they are alone in this time. So yeah, that's the personal decision I made. As far as career, I usually would be in a school teaching, but because of COVID, I'm now teaching virtually, you know, online. So it's changed so many things, right? So yeah, definitely it's been an impactful year that you don't go into 2020. I didn't go into 2020 thinking that I'd be doing this, but you know, now this is the new normal where we're talking and connecting with people virtually, right? So
there's no way anybody could have been prepared for 2020. I'm with you there. It's been, gosh, how can you, words can't express. But I think a lot of persons, and from what I'm hearing, you've learned to pivot and just make the best of the new norm. What advice, Nigel, could you share with anyone looking to write a book, or even the play, the drama? What advice could you give that person?
I mean, it's simple advice, but I think it's important advice is just do it. Just do it. Don't hesitate. If you have the idea, start writing it and start putting those things together, because you never know where it's going to take you. But you know, it's one of those things that if you invest in it and you invest the time in it, the opportunities will present themselves. But you have to first make the decision that you're going to do it, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure it comes out. You know, that's what I'd say to anyone is that, you know, it wasn't until I said, you know what, I'm going to actually do this, and that's where the opportunities came, right? So I would just tell them to just do it. Don't wait, don't hesitate. If you have that passion or you have that vision, do it. Because there are people, there's a world waiting to hear what you have to offer. So it just makes sense to do it, for sure.
And you're so correct. There's someone out there waiting for your story, waiting for that particular gift that you have to impart to the world. And that's what I did. In addition to what you just said, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it, get the story out, and now it's here. And
now we're here, right?
Now we're here, exactly. Nigel, is there anything you want to share about yourself? Anything else you want to share about yourself? And any other upcoming projects that you can discuss right now?
Upcoming projects, you know what, I try my best to be as active or current as possible. So there's if opportunities come or present themselves to me, I'm always open to pursuing them. That's one thing I've lived by. I believe that when opportunity knocks, you answer, And that's the type of person I am. Like, I don't take those things lightly. That, you have that window of opportunity and you got to take advantage of it. And I've lived my life that way, and I've been blessed to have so many opportunities come around me because of me thinking, you know what, I'm going to take the opportunity because I never know what door it will open. So that's one thing I would say to anybody listening, is that take advantage of those opportunities, and you'll never know where they will lead. So yeah.
Sound advice. Thank you so much, Nigel, for sharing that tidbit with us. And how can people connect with you? If anyone watching wants to reach out, how can they connect with you?
Best way is Instagram. That's my best connect. My Instagram is Justified, JUSTI 5 and D, 5 as in the number and D, and that's how you can connect with me directly. Yeah,
sounds good. And I'll drop that contact information in the description as well for those of you who missed that. Thank you once more, Nigel, for joining the show. I've learned so much about you and about your project, and I want to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be on this show here. I really appreciate it, for sure.
You're most welcome. And for those of you who watched today, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to Conversations with Diana for more informative interviews. Thank you. In order for me to continue to share these real stories of real people with you, I need you to subscribe, like, comment, share, and follow.